What up? It's Snowflake, and I'm going to give you a little Final Cut Pro tip of the day. So if you're ever working with interlace footage, which is 29.9.7, 59.9.4, 60i, it's all the same way of saying interlaced footage, meaning there's two fields. There's an even field and an odd field, and you have two fields like this, okay, to create an image. If you ever work with that in Final Cut Pro, you might notice that in Final Cut Pro, you don't see those interlace lines, but once you've exported it, you actually do see those interlace lines. And why is that? And also, on top of that, you might notice that in Final Cut Pro, everything looked fine, and as soon as you exported it, you were getting like these weird glitches in the footage or these weird errors that weren't there before. And where do those come from? Well, I'm going to explain to you how to see those in Final Cut Pro so you can make sure that they're not there in the final product, or if you see them in the final product, how to go back and find them and fix them. Okay? So if we're just in our sequence here, and I got the sequence going, the footage I'm working with is 29.9.7. All right, and we're just going to watch it. If you notice, right, the footage looks fine, right? Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with like interlaced footage. I'm just saying it doesn't look interlaced. You can't see the interlaced lines. It looks progressive. It looks like it's just one frame after another because there's no interlaced lines. There's no fields. Okay, but that's because we're not viewing the footage in the canvas at 100% of the image. So I'm just going to do this for illustrative purposes. I'm going to expand this a little bit. I'm going to do this fit all. And now it's at 66%. So it's just a little bit bigger, but it's still not 100%. And we watch it back, and look, still can't see the interlace lines. Just looks progressive, right? Just looks like picture after picture after picture. Okay, so let's get this even bigger. And I'm going to go at 100%. We're going to watch the image at 100%. And at 100%, suddenly you can see the interlace lines.
Where you going, man?
Well, the reason for that is Final Cut Pro, anything less than 100% actually just takes those fields and kind of meshes them together, and so it looks progressive, but it's actually not. So then when you export it to the final product, you suddenly see all these interlace lines that you didn't actually see before. And then also you might have seen that little green glitch. That also can be hidden from image until you look at it 100%. But when you export it to the final product, suddenly it's there, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? So I'm going to show you that. So here's the interlace lines.
Where'd it go, man?
Okay, and then we're going to get to this green image here. You can see this little green frame. And this green frame is some sort of glitch when the capture was happening, and just a weak connection, something like that. But for whatever reason that it was created, it's not viewable unless you're looking at it 100%. So you can go through and here's this messed up looking image in your footage, and you go through and you edit it and everything's fine, and then you export it and the final product looks like crap, and you're like, where did all this stuff come from? Well, if we look at this at 50%, it's not there. It just kind of disappears. And why that whole green frame disappears, I'm not sure. It could possibly be that just one field is green, and so when it meshes them together, that field kind of disappears almost. I'm not really sure why you can't see it here, but that's just a result of not looking at your footage at 100% in Final Cut Pro. So a lot of times what you might want to do is after you've got a full edit, you can either A, review everything at 100%, or B, once you've exported it and you see that there's some problems in your footage, well, now you know how to go back and go to that specific spot, go look at it 100%, and you can see the interlace lines, and you can see any glitches or errors that you might be having, and you can fix them. So, I hope this tutorial or this tip was helpful, and if it was, make sure to like the video and comment on it. And then if you could, subscribe. And then check back later for more tutorials and tips on Final Cut Pro 7, Apple Motion, Compressor, and DVD Studio Pro. Thank you.